The king has finished his meeting with the council of ministers and advisors. Comes to the end of his workday, goes back into the palace, goes back to his bedroom, gets into bed with the queen. So then it's just the king and the queen alone together in bed at night. The person he trusts most in the world, he knows better than anyone, the person who knows him and his intention better than anyone, then he can really say what he's thinking to that one person in that unique situation. That's Vajrayana Buddhism. So we were fortunate enough, maybe some of you are also fortunate enough, to learn Vajrayana Buddhism that way, the way it's intended. Learning it some other way is very difficult. Teachers who come and go in the night, giving profound empowerments, telling you, okay, here's the essence of your mind, $50 please at the door. I don't think so. Sorry. That's Tulku Urgent's story. I'm just agreeing with him. So thank you. Sunam di tamje zipanye tobne nyepe dranam pamje shinje gana chi balon trupai sipe sole drowa drowarsho jampar pawo jitar jampa dan kuntu zampo de ande jinte te da kunji jesu da lojin gewa de da danje radu. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rinpoche. I'm going to teach tonight, so I'll pass on a couple stories that I read in your book. Like my favorite one that I remember that I'll tell you now just because it's quick, was to tease him, because he's very much into money, as you can tell, being a lawyer and probably Jewish. Then, you know, there's a story about Tulku Urgent and money. Tulku Urgent Rinpoche used to live way up above Kathmandu Valley in Nagi Gampa at his hermitage there. And I remember that every morning his grandchildren used to come in their little yellow galoshes and raincoats, because it was monsoon season practically all the time in Nepal. And he would each give them like a few paisa, like 10 cents, 20 cents, they're really little, so they could get some sweets on the way to school or at lunchtime. And he was such a great old master. But the real point was they would come in every day to see their grandfather before they went to school. And he would have, you know, it was for him too, of course, a moment with them. And so Tulku Sherdor, I don't know how old he was at this time, but even younger than he is now, he was there, and I can't remember all the story because this book is chock full of stories. But he was there way up at the Lama's eyrie, like the Eagle's Lair, Nagi Gampa, which didn't have a road to it in those days. And, you know, fat Lamas like me used to have servants pushing their asses up the hill. That's what I read in the book. I won't mention the Lama he did name, who was a Tibetan Lama. Fat Lamas like me, and their servants were pushing them up on the muddy hill. Am I exaggerating? That's exactly what you wrote. We're allegedly pushing them up. Is that true? Yes or no? Yes. Thank you. He's a good witness. And so he was up there for, I don't know, days, sleeping in the temple on the straw mat, going to see the Rinpoche whenever he could in his simple room. The Rinpoche had a very simple room there with nothing in it, with a big window for his sky-gazing practice or whatever he did, resting in awareness. And when Tulku Sherdor left, this great, marvelous Rinpoche gave the Westerner, I don't remember what stage in his life it was, but certainly he had credit cards and health insurance and a bank account and probably, I don't know what, an inheritance or whatever. And he had, you know, and his international plane tickets and passport, he had American karma. This great Rinpoche gave him 10 rupees, like one of the grandchildren. But, you know, it was like a big allowance, not like 10 paisa for the little children, because he was probably 30 or 40. He gave him 10 whole rupees, which was a lot of money in those days. It could buy you a lot of tea. It was only about half a buck, but whatever. Was it 10 or 20? 10 rupees. And that's not the end of the story. And he told him, this is like a Zen story. We were discussing this at lunch. Why did he tell you this? He said, he told our friend here, you have to spend it before you get down to the refugee town of Bodhanath from this mountain place. So then, from between the mountain place and there was absolutely nowhere to spend the money on anything. That's what we were laughing about. I said, why do you think he gave that to you? It's kind of like a Zen test or something. And so what did he do? So he was being a good boy at heart, being a people pleaser, a disease to please, being wanting to serve the Rinpoche. Rinpoche knows, right? The omniscient master knows everything. There's obviously a reason he told me this. I have to spend the money. Otherwise, it would be like stealing. What if I get that all the way to the village and then I spend my 10 rupees on tea and ice cream or something? Bad karma. I have to do what the Rinpoche said. So if I remember, he found some kind of farmer or some villager in their hut or something and made him give him tea, which, of course, this person had never done before, and they probably didn't have any language in common. And this was not like somebody who was selling tea or anything, or a beggar carrying peanuts and tea around in the mountains, like at a sports stadium. And he got the tea, and he gave him the 10 rupees, which was like a month's salary to this villager. And that's how he spent the 10 rupees before he got back to civilization. So that's a true story. I mean, allegedly, according to counselor. And we still don't know why Rinpoche asked him to do it that way. Thus, the masters teach us. Thank you.